Apple might just be feeling the burn of the decision to remove the headphone jack from the iPhone 7, as according to data collected by Nikkei, they are planning on reducing production of the iPhone line by 10% in the first quarter of 2017. Now, they did experience a similar situation with the iPhone 6s thanks to accumulated inventory late in 2015, which then caused them to lower output of that particular smartphone in Q1 2016. So basically they tried to kind of get ahead of the game this time around and prevent the same thing from repeating itself with the iPhone 7 by curbing production quantities in the 2016 release. But even with this preemptive measure, Apple is again looking to cut back manufacturing for the flagship iPhone line in the new year. Now, Nikkei are citing what they call quote-unquote sluggish global sales for the iPhone 7 as the main reason behind the move. So they are expecting, due to this decision, that production cuts are expected to be focused on the 7 and the 7 Plus. And the report from Nikkei, which of course will be linked in the description below, reads, quote, Apple will trim production of its iPhone family around 10% on the year in the first quarter of 2017, according to calculations by Nikkei based on data from suppliers. The phones still have sold more sluggishly than expected. Information on production of the latest models and global sales suggests cuts in both the 7 and 7 Plus lines in the coming quarter. Now, that's not to say these phones aren't still popular, it's just they're possibly less than they expected. The iPhone 7 Plus, which does have the double camera on its back face, is popular, and of course the iPhone 7 in Japan is pretty strong, as it has a lot of compatibility with contactless chip readers, and obviously that's used a lot for payment. But you know, Japan only makes up about 10% or so of the global smartphone market, so that country by itself cannot make up for this overall sluggishness in the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus sales. Now, of course, Apple have done this before after Christmas, but of course the point that this article is actually making, that despite them trying to kind of preemptively curb production and kind of avoid the problem that they had in the last couple of years, it's still lower than expected. So the fact that they've done this before isn't really relevant because it's still lower than they expected, even with the preventative measure that they usually have done the last couple of years in place. However, do keep in mind that this is based upon Nikkei's data gathering, so, you know, do take it with a pinch of salt. The source, again, will be linked below, so give it a read, so decide for yourself how much credibility you want to lend it. How true this ends up being, we may or may not find out, depends on whether or not the sales figures actually become public. Hopefully we get a good picture of how much impact the removal of the headphone jack actually has, because to be honest, I really don't agree with the decision. I'm not an iPhone person, never have, but it's not a move that I particularly like, because of course it could be implemented by other companies. Regardless, as I said, the source is linked in the description below, and again, do take it with a pinch of salt. None of this is 100% concrete, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions regardless. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.